I'm always keen to point out the idiocy and overreach of governments and the march of the nanny state. Never hesitate to send in any examples you notice around the place. We never run out of examples as it is, because I was just thinking the other day, how about Queensland? You know that they're throwing money around there in the lead up to the election. We talked about it last night, $1,000 energy rebates, and yesterday's gimmick of unlimited public transport for 50 cents.
50 cents. That's all it will cost to go anywhere in Queensland's public transport network from the 5th of August.
Yeah, so obviously there's no shortage of money in the Sunshine State. But this is the same state government, I kid you not, this is the same state government that's pursuing 2,186 people, actually, for COVID fines, for a total of $3.6 million in COVID fines. You know, the outrageous fines for not wearing a mask or being in the wrong area, you're daring to be down at the park with your friends during COVID, all those sorts of fines. Instead of just waiving these fines, the government's actually spending more money chasing people down, trying to get fines it never should have levied in the first place. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. Other states are still chasing these fines too. They should give it a rest. They should be repaying everyone the COVID fines that have already been levied, rather than chasing more victims and chasing more of our money. OK, there's another example. Now, no one wants to downplay the issue of domestic violence and the need to protect women in particular, of course. On this program, I've repeatedly called for tougher sentences and stricter imposition of bail conditions and denial of bail, a tougher law and order approach. But the Victorian Labor government unveiled its new response today. Premier Jacinta Allan has appointed the first parliamentary secretary for men's behaviour change. No, I'm not making this up. A minister for changing men's behaviour. Yeah, good one. That ought to do it. It's just more political grandstanding, isn't it? More virtue signalling instead of action. Here's my tip. Lock up bad men. Lock up violent criminals. Lock up men who threaten and intimidate and hurt women. Lock them up. That'll change their behaviour. Then they won't be able to go near their potential victims. That's what governments need to do. Fix problems. Not come up with new titles and gimmicks to make it look like they're doing something. Let's bring in the panel now, and I'm joined as ever by 2CC breakfast radio host in Canberra, Stephen Senatiempo, and columnist for the Herald Sun, Susie O'Brien in Melbourne. Susie, the Parliamentary Secretary for Changing Men's Behaviour. He hasn't got a very big job, has he?
Oh, just beggars belief. There are so many concrete things that people in this space have been crying out for years now. Better funding for women's shelters, more support for people who come up with ideas like the silent alarm that women wear around their neck, that they can trigger. The person who's attacking them doesn't even know it's coming, and then the emergency services can come to their aid. And what do? They put in I don't even know what it's called, a men's behavioural change expert as part of a parliamentary...
A politician whose job is to change men's behaviour.
It's grandstanding.
It's nonsense. Why don't they just have a minister for changing everyone's behaviour, and there'll be no crime then? We won't even have to have a police force. What a joke.